Just once I want to see a movie like this where the main character turns out to be like a really lucky accountant or something instead of some kind of special forces operative. This movie's kind of an oddball for me. I had originally put it on because it's been a while since I've torn apart a terrible movie, and this looked perfect. I mean, it's a ripoff of Battle Royale, a ripoff of 10th Victim for you historians. Aha, how's that for a deep cut reference? And it stars Stone Cold Steve Austin. Well, that's how he's credited, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Maybe that's why no one else is credited on the cover, their names wouldn't fit. So, yeah, I put this on expecting another terrible movie that I could rip apart and exaggerate the problems of for comedic effect, but honestly, it wasn't that bad. In fact, I kinda liked it. I mean, yeah, it has a lot of issues. I mean, it's the kind of movie where they used up their writing budget on the special effects, so the Mexican guy's named Paco, the Japanese guy's a martial arts master, the German is a Nazi, and the black guy sells weed. He doesn't die first, though, so they had some originality. So the basic premise here is this TV mogul decides it would be a huge deal on the internet if he took a bunch of random death row inmates from around the world, stuck them on an island to battle to the death, and live streamed it. Now keep in mind this was before Fortnite streamers mainstreamed this kind of concept, so you can see where he was a bit ahead of his time. Reasonably frosty Steven gets pulled into it last minute, and we learn that no one really knows much about him, and he isn't too forthcoming with the information. He also manages to do the exact opposite of what he says he does in the first 5 minutes he's there.
What were you doing in El Salvador?
Working on my tan.
Why'd you blow the building up?
Was blocking my son. I don't play games.
Yep, I'm pretty sure that whole opening bit there could count as playing games. They also do this thing where it looks like they're going to pull a Suicide Squad and have this random dude introduce everyone by just reading their info off a list.
Ewan McStarley, London, England. 4-year special forces. 3 peacekeeping tours through Africa. Set fire to a village in Rwanda. Executed 17 men, 9 women. Torture, mutilation, good stuff.
And then they just don't. Yeah, only this one guy gets that kind of intro. I think they just used up all the really bad crimes on this one dude and then realized they had nowhere to go from there, so they just cut the rest out. So all in all, we have Mexican couple who spend most of the movie crying, hugging, and being victimized and or brutalized by the other contestants. Japanese guy who seems pretty nonplussed about this whole thing. Angry, screaming German guy who gets killed right off the bat. Black guy who is not, I repeat, not a poorly written stereotype. Hefty lads 1 and 2. Bullet-toothed Tony. And girl. So it turns out every contestant has a block of plastique around their ankle that will go off once a certain amount of time has elapsed, and the only way to stop it is to kill all the other contestants.
It's enough to incinerate you, your dog, and the small house you may be residing in at the time.
Oh yeah, it'll also go off if you pull this little tab out of it, and I think the writers just threw that in there so that rather than have actual fights, they could just have everyone roll around trying to pull each other's ankle tabs. You'd think they would want to make the fights as fun and interesting as possible considering who's playing the main character, but there's only 1 or 2 that really stick out, and I won't show them here so I don't ruin them. I am going to show you my favorite death in the whole movie, though, because it doesn't even happen during a fight. It just kind of comes in when this guy is telling this other person about his past, and he goes on this long story about how he got screwed over by his last girlfriend, and that's how he ended up on death row, and how he doesn't trust women anymore, and probably won't let his guard down around women anymore. And then she just pulls his tab and runs away.
Oh! Bitch got me again!
I love that. That's great. So anyway, shock and awe, it turns out that this mysterious meat mountain is a former Special Forces agent that took the fall for some kind of snafu and ended up in some prison in South America as a result. So about halfway through the contest, some of the people behind the scenes start to get cold feet and seem to be considering turning on the guy who organized the whole thing.
I can't hold down food.
Actually, this guy here, the guy in charge of setting up the cameras, he's kind of my favorite character in this movie. He's pretty well-rounded and seems to have more dimensions than anyone else in the film, and he actually has a pretty decent arc. So what we end up with is kind of a 4-way chase. There's the military attempting to track down where the stream is coming from before everyone is killed, the contestants trying to be the last one standing before the time limit runs out, the people running the show trying to keep everything running smoothly to the end, and the other people working on the show trying to decide if, when, and how to turn on their boss and pull the plug.
We've both been sold.
I know.
Goldie, we have to stop this.
You also have the main character's family spotting him on the stream and trying to piece together what happened to him since he had gone missing a few years earlier, and to the film's credit, it actually does a really great job of balancing all these plots. It doesn't bounce around so much that it feels unfocused, but it also doesn't focus on any one of them for too long at a time, and the live stream aspect means they can organically segue from any point in the competition to whichever side plot they want, given that all the side characters are watching the stream. It's a pretty clever gimmick that plays right into how everything is showcased.
It's bullshit.
Now, as the competition goes on, due to some incredibly convenient circumstances, our hero manages to make it down to the final 3, at which point he's able to duck out of view of any of the cameras right as the last place they saw him is blown up. Bullet Tooth Tony is declared the winner, the bomb is taken off his leg, but he gets pretty upset when it turns out that's all he's getting and the money he was promised won't be coming in.
Me and you, we had a deal.
I am altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further.
So he has a little fit and takes the rest of the crew hostage, only to get taken out by, you guessed it,
John C.
The real bad guy, the guy running this whole thing, tries to escape in a helicopter, but his extremely accommodating helicopter pilot decides to just kind of hover a few feet off the ground for like 3 to 4 minutes, allowing the last explosive house arrest anklet to be thrown into the chopper at the last second. The mysterious and magically mobile mountain of meat returns to his family, and yeah, that's it. It just kind of ends. Now, this is an extremely silly movie, but I actually liked it way more than I thought I would, and if you're looking for a dumb action movie that you can just shut your brain off and enjoy, this is definitely a good choice. Apparently, it also did well enough to merit a sequel, and I feel like I'm going to have to check that out at some point as well. So as always, thanks for stopping by. I'll see you next time. Hey guys, thanks for coming by and giving a watch. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. I apologize for my weird upload schedule lately. I do have a job that I work outside of doing this, and there was a lot of overtime this week, so I just really didn't have time to get to making this video. So yeah, I apologize for that, and I'm gonna try to be uploading more regularly, I promise. I was going to make my next review a review of Cyberpunk 2077, but, I'm fighting my way through a lot of glitches with that and through a lot of issues with my own recording and computer software, so it might be a little while before I'm able to get that out. So I'm probably going to try to do a few more short reviews like this one between then and now while I work on it. Also, please drop any recommendations for anything you'd like me to cover. I always appreciate looking at new stuff, and I always appreciate having new stuff to review. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Please feel free to drop any feedback. Also, slight note, I do apologize for any weird audio glitches. I am still recording in my car, and it's really cold this time of year, and it messes with my microphone a little bit. Anyway, thank you guys so much, and I will see you very soon. Bye-bye.